One hot summer morning, the sun shone brightly over the fields, forests, and little villages. The rivers had become shallow, the ponds were drying up, and even the grass looked tired under the burning heat. Birds and animals searched everywhere for water. Among them was a young crow named Covey. Covey was clever, kind, and never gave up easily. That morning, he woke up feeling very thirsty. His throat was dry and his wings felt weak. He flew from one tree to another, hoping to find a little water. First, Covey visited a small pond near the forest. But when he arrived, he found only cracked mud. There was not a single drop of water. He sighed and flew away. Next, he visited a little stream. It had once been full of cool, fresh water, but now it had almost dried up. A rabbit sat beside it sadly. "I came here hoping to drink," said the rabbit. "There is nothing left." "I hope we both find water soon," replied Covey kindly before flying away. As the sun climbed higher, the heat became stronger. Covey grew weaker with every flap of his wings. He stopped on the branch of a large banyan tree to rest. An old owl looked at him and asked, "Young crow, why do you look so tired?" "I have searched everywhere for water, but I cannot find any," Covey answered. The owl smiled gently. "Never lose hope. Sometimes the answer is waiting where you least expect it." Covey thanked the owl and continued his journey. He flew over fields where farmers worked under the hot sun. He saw goats resting in the shade and cows standing quietly beneath trees. Everyone looked thirsty. After flying for a long time, Covey noticed an old clay pot standing beside a small abandoned hut. His eyes sparkled with hope. "Maybe there is water inside," he said happily. He quickly landed beside the pot and looked inside. Yes, there was water at the bottom. Covey became excited. He stretched his neck as far as he could, but his beak could not reach the water. The water level was too low. "Oh no," he cried. "I found water, but I still cannot drink it." For a few moments he felt disappointed. Then he remembered the owl's words. Never lose hope. Instead of flying away, Covey began thinking carefully. "There must be a way," he whispered. He walked around the pot and looked at everything nearby. Suddenly, he noticed many small stones scattered on the ground. He picked up one small pebble with his beak and dropped it into the pot. Plop! Nothing seemed to happen. Still, Covey did not give up. He picked up another pebble. Plop! Then another. Plop! A little squirrel watched him curiously. "What are you doing?" asked the squirrel. "I am trying to raise the water so I can drink it," Covey answered. The squirrel laughed. "A few stones will never help." But Covey simply smiled and kept working. Soon a sparrow landed nearby. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I believe every small stone makes a difference," Covey replied. The sparrow liked his determination. "I will help you." Together, they carried pebble after pebble and dropped them into the pot. Soon a pigeon joined them. Then a myna. Even the squirrel, who had laughed before, felt sorry and decided to help. "I'm sorry," said the squirrel. "You were right not to give up." All the animals worked together. Little by little, the water slowly rose inside the pot. Everyone watched with excitement. "It's moving," shouted the sparrow. "The water is getting higher," cried the pigeon. Finally, after many pebbles had been dropped into the pot, the water reached the top. Covey carefully bent down and took a long, refreshing drink. The cool water felt wonderful. His thirst disappeared, and his strength returned. He stepped aside and smiled. Now everyone can drink. The squirrel, sparrow, pigeon, and myna each took turns drinking from the pot. They all thanked Covey for his clever idea. "You saved us all," said the rabbit, who had finally arrived after following the birds. "It was not only my idea," Covey replied. "Everyone helped. Together we made it possible." Just then, an old farmer returned to the abandoned hut. He was surprised to see so many happy animals around the pot. He understood what had happened after noticing the pebbles inside. "What a wise little crow," he said with a smile. The farmer filled several bowls with fresh water and placed them under nearby trees for birds and animals. He also filled the clay pot to the top every morning. From that day onward, no thirsty animal had to search so far for water. Covey often visited the old farmer and thanked him with cheerful caws. The farmer always smiled whenever he saw the clever crow. As the seasons changed, rain finally returned. Rivers filled again, ponds sparkled under the sunlight, and green plants covered the fields. Yet every young bird in the forest continued to hear the story of Covey, the clever crow who never gave up. Parents told their children, "When life becomes difficult, do not lose hope. Think carefully, be patient, and keep trying. Even small efforts can solve big problems." Covey's story became famous throughout the forest because it taught everyone that intelligence is stronger than frustration, patience is more powerful than anger, and teamwork can turn an impossible problem into a successful solution. Moral of the story: where there is patience, intelligence, and determination, there is always a way. Small efforts, when continued with hope, can achieve great results.